leave that.
He's also a big Aaron Rodgers fan, so maybe that doesn't.
No, that draft was Rubio and then what's his name from Syracuse, the 2 point guards right in a row.
Yeah,
and that was bad. And then they had a third draft, and they drafted Lawson. They traded to Denver. That's 3 point guards in a flippin' NBA draft. Who flippin' does that? David Kahn, because he thought he was smarter than everybody else. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't think that maybe Manny Lagos is that crazy.
Right.
But getting all these forwards, getting all these strikers, does he think he knows something that we don't know?
Right.
You know, does he think this is the way MLS works? You know, I will give him a month and a half. And then we're taking the convertible out and we're jumping off the cliff like Thelma and Louise.
So are we on the same page? Like, it sounds like basically from the past 20 minutes of conversation, are we on the same page that Christian Ramirez could have been a superstar for the Loons, but he didn't have the team to support him?
Look,
is that yes or no? I want to hear yes or no.
If we had a number 6, quality number 6, Christian Ramirez would have been a superstar for the Loons.
Christian...
Okay.
Christian is great. I mean, Christian's great. I don't. Again, I'll say this for the 5th time today. I love Christian Ramirez, but this is a business decision. This is Manny Lagos' decision.
Yep.
If I wasn't a big fan, I would say, "Oh, great, you did what you had to do." I'm a huge fan, though, so I think it was a bad trade. But on the same token, I think that Manny has forced teeth now with all the drafts and the signings to give up somebody like Christian Ramirez. Who else is going to give up? You give up Toy? You going to give up Dinladi?
Right, there's no value there.
There's no value there. Yep. They got some value out of Christian. They got how much? $1 million worth of
could be
TAM?
Yeah, 700 or 800 for sure.
Yeah, okay. So maybe that comes into play in a year or two.
Right.
And maybe in a year or two we're talking on this podcast about how it was a great trade because we were able to sign somebody else.
Right.
But for right now, it looks like a very shitty trade.
Right.
And that's not just coming from a guy who's a big fan. That's coming from a guy who's a business. I know business. You do things for business. You don't do this though.
Right.
You don't kill your fan base. This is a big fan base trade. I mean, this is like the Twins getting rid of Joe Mauer 5 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it is because Joe Mauer came with the Twins and he's been with the Twins.
Maybe like more appropriately, like when they signed him after his MVP season in 2009. It would have been like them trading him at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if they would have traded Joe Mauer 5 years ago, it would be like, yeah, that's terrible. But like he wasn't producing like he was in his MVP years.
This trade reminds me of the KG trade, Kevin Garnett, Timberwolves, because they weren't going to re-sign him. They had the money, so they decided just to get rid of him.
It felt like yeah, you're right,
and it kills you. It kills you.
It felt like the at that point that it felt like the Timberwolves were just giving up.
But it kills you because a guy like Kevin Garnett is the Timberwolves, right? And I've been a big T-Wolves fan since they opened up in 1989. KG was the Timberwolves, okay? For years, there was nobody on that team. And then KG came in, and he was the T-Wolves. Christian Ramirez was the flippin' Loons.
So the difference is they're selling this trade as they're selling it as this was the right move for both Christian and the team. They're selling
business. It was a business move, yes.
Yeah, but not just business. They are telling the supporters that this was a move that is going to benefit the team.
But the problem with that, Dave, is the fact that
they didn't do that with Garnett. That's not how they sold
it. Garnett was more of a we can't afford Garnett.
Exactly.
Christian, unfortunately, if they're going to tell you that it's a team move, and Sterling will probably back me up on this, you can't trade the face of a franchise and say it's a business move and get back $1 million worth of TAM.
Right.
You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Because the supporters for the Loons especially are very, very involved with the players.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say that you shouldn't be involved with the player, they are. Okay?
Right.
Christian Ramirez, Miguel Ibarra, those are your two guys.
Yep.
And if you trade one of them, people are going to be pissed off.
Yep.
That's the way it works.
And, and that's a big thing. If we want to bring in the comparison to Atlanta again, it's a big thing that separates Minnesota from Atlanta. Atlanta has zero history.
Yeah.
Minnesota has a history.
With a history, yes.
You're bringing in this team that's existed for years, and you're just shifting them right into Major League Soccer. And so we have, people were pissed that we let Davis go and Venegas go. They were terrible.
Yeah.
No offense to them. They're doing fine in USL. But for Major League Soccer, they weren't Major League Soccer quality. And
they weren't. No.
There were still supporters that were upset about that.
Yeah.
So you have this attachment because that's how the second division worked. Mm-hmm. They allowed their players to be very attached to the fan base, and there was a lot of interaction. Mm-hmm. And so you've got this history that most other teams don't have. You maybe Portland had some of these growing pains, and maybe even Seattle had some of these growing pains. I suppose maybe even Orlando,
but not to this level though.
But yeah, it's one of those things where this is a very different situation. You have a fan base, as you said, that's very attached to their players, and here we are dealing with that next step.
Exactly, and again, you're 100% right, and I think both you and I are both on the same page. Is that when you have a team that came up like the Loons, okay, and you have a fan base, guess what? That fan base at Blaine was what, 5,000 people?
Yeah.
Okay, 5,000 people. So, okay, so you're going to make a decision. You say, well, I'm going to piss off 5,000 people, or that's fine because it's a business decision. But you can't do that and not get a good return for it.
Right.
At least when I saw the trade happen, again, $1 million worth of TM, potentially, that's fine. But at least get another player that I can say, hey, we got a young guy who could be good at some point.
Well, they've got a year and a half to do that, Tony. So
I know they do, but frankly, $1 million worth of TM is not worth Christian Ramirez.
And this is the 21st century. We want success now.
Well, Atlanta has success now.
And as much as we personally don't like to compare us to Atlanta, I guarantee you, based on my interactions on Twitter, a lot of these supporters are comparing us. But they want success now.
Do you know why?
They don't see that 2 years down the road.
But you know why we're not Atlanta? It's because Bill McGuire is not Arthur Blank.
Right.
Arthur Blank, what is it? He's Lowe's, right?
Yeah.
He's got billions of dollars. Bill McGuire, United Healthcare, he's got millions of dollars, okay? He can't do the same things that Arthur Blank does. He doesn't have the stadium. He doesn't have the financial stuff going on.
But an emotionally attached, irrational fan base can't make those connections.
And guess what? You're right. We are an emotionally attached, irrational fan base in Minnesota. I'm sorry. That's the way it works.
Now, and guess what? Guess what we have coming up at the end of the season?
What's that?
Miguel Ibarra's contract is up with an option.
And guess we're not going to sign.
I would hope they take that option.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like going into Allianz Field next season if both of them are gone?
I'm telling you this much. Getting rid of Ramirez for Ibarra, and I brought this up earlier, probably wasn't the best thing because Ibarra, I think, is pissed off about it. So you think the United are going to go say, hey, Ibarra, I want to sign you for another 3 years at a big contract. You think he's going to do it? Or you think he's going to say, hey, Christian, you got to spot out me in L.A.? Maybe I'll go out there because that's where he's from anyways. Right. So you could have Batman and Superman back in L.A. Right. That's the way it works.
That'd be fun.
And it will all be pissed off. Well, not all of us, but the supporting staff will be pissed off because we got rid of the two guys that got us here. And that sucks, but it's business.
It's business.
Yeah. Sharpen your pitchforks, right?
Yeah.
Right. You got a few more weeks.
And why do we do this podcast?
Yes.
Because we talk about this shit.
Yeah.
And nobody else does.
It's true. Honestly, I was telling Dave before the podcast that I actually almost had someone convinced on Twitter about this whole Adrian Heath theory. It's like, oh, he was just kind of like, oh, I guess I never thought about it that way. It could be right.
Yeah, because we're not, I'm telling you, the three of us, we're not going to sugarcoat this stuff. I mean, we're all fans here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm a fan of the Loons. I'm going to tell you what I think. The same way I do with the Twins, same way I do with the Vikings, same way I do with the Timberwolves. I ain't sugarcoating anything about it.
Right. We're not getting paid by Minnesota United.
We're not getting paid by Minnesota United. Exactly right.
We don't have to toe any line.
Exactly right. They want to come shut us down, come to my garage, we'll have a chat.
Right.
And you could be on the podcast.
And I would love to take a shot at Manny Legos' nuts with my foot.
Whether they have a 3-year plan or a 2-year plan, all we can go by and all we should go by is what we're seeing on the pitch.
Exactly right.
What?
But here's the thing about 2 or 3 year plans is that, okay, so we have 2 years at TCF Bank Stadium. We've already made a shitload of changes in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So I hope that this is what they've done in the mid-season. That's the end of it. This is what their plan is. If we go into the offseason and they start making even more decisions, then my feeling is Manny Lagos doesn't know what the flip he's doing, and I'm not cool with anything, right?
Yeah, I think I agree. It's one of those things where I actually got into this with somebody about
on Facebook,
on Twitter about a 3-year plan. So what exactly is a 3-year plan? Is a 3-year plan to be prepared for year 3, or is a 3-year plan to be prepared for year 4?
Well, no, I'll tell you this much. Watching again, I'll go back to the Timberwolves. A 3-year plan when I was a kid was the T-Wolves had a 3-year plan. Okay, so drafting and getting guys signed, and they totally sucked at it. They were terrible. They couldn't do it. The Wild had the same type of deal, and they were good. Stevens and I were at Brothers in Minneapolis when they was the second year or third year.
Yeah, it was third, I think. Western Conference
when they gave out
Final.
shots at Jaeger in our second or third year. I mean, they had a plan and they got to it, and that was great. If you want to make a 3rd-year plan, then you have to make signings and drafts that are going towards that 3rd-year plan.
Right.
And maybe you agree with me, I haven't seen that with the Loons yet.
No, yeah, because like Atlanta had a 1-year plan. Like, we are going to make this as successful as possible.
Sign those 3 guys right away. Exactly right.
So if you're telling us that the Loons have a 3-year plan, then we should be able to expect the same from Atlanta's success.
I will say
next year,
Atlanta and Minnesota totally different. Like I brought before.
Yeah.
Okay,
but they're on the 1-year plan. We're on the 3-year plan,
and they followed through on their plan.
They did,
where it's questionable that they followed through.
Arthur Blank could spend money.
Yeah.
Bill McGuire can't. So his 3-year plan has to be. You have to make decisions that go towards 3 years. You have to make the right decisions for 2.5 years to get to that 3rd year.
Right.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you're doing a 3-year plan, you don't sign 34-year-olds like Tyrone Mears.
Yeah.
You don't sign. I was going to say you don't sign Angelo Rodriguez, but being 29, that's actually not that bad of an age.
You signed Darwin though. That was a good step.
Yeah.
After they signed him, I thought, hey, maybe he's smart. Maybe he knows what he's doing. And then all of a sudden, after Darwin, and he has a great time, then we do the whole Christian and the Angelo and the Bar Jr. And it's all screwed up, man.
Yeah.
Maybe he knows what he's doing. Yeah. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Like, I give a shit. We're not involved.
Right. It's
not
our
care.
job to be involved.
We're just here to talk soccer and drink beers. That's what we care about. Yep. You guys have anything else to say before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. I think we're pissed off now.
Yeah.
Not good.
So we do have SKC coming up.
Next week,
Yeah,
a week
next
from
week.
yesterday.